Hi, I'm John DiArmo with the Coquille Valley Sword Group, and today we're talking about Article 20. So, let's begin. Article 20, Removing the Bowstring. Removing the bowstring is a method of releasing yourself from a deadlocked situation. During combat, a situation sometimes develops whereby you and your opponent pull at each other simultaneously between both tensioned spirit strings, so that the fight becomes deadlocked. In such a case, you should remove the string with your body, with the sword, with the legs, or with the spirit as fast as possible. It is best removed in that you do something unexpected to the opponent. This should be tried out. So, the specific type of deadlock that we're talking about here occurs, as the name sort of implies, when you have kind of a set distance between you and your opponent during the deadlocked interchange. So, if I step forward and swing at him, he evades, and I try and clear, and he maintains space with me. I try and step in and swing, and he voids, right? He tries to counter, and I reposition, but we stay at this instant hit distance, right? But neither of us is gaining advantage. What we need to do is break this relation in a way that they cannot maintain it, right? And this is what this article is about. So, a very good example of a kind of motion that will sever this sort of string of connectivity is the foot transposition in Toraburi, right? This dynamic changing of body orientation while being in the same distance will typically free up your space, right? You'll still be at that exact moment for that instant, but as you work, either you will force them to retreat or you will have space to retreat yourself without them following. And if you study that as its example, you'll find it to be fairly simple. Other ways that this can be done are through shouting, appropriately timed, so that it disrupts their awareness, not necessarily in conjunction with an attack or motion on your part, just to break the rhythm with a strike, because the same way you break the rhythm with a punch, just vocally, and then moving or pressing. And it should be understood that the problem is not the distance that you and the opponent are at. The problem is that you've entered into a deadlock. In other words, you have fallen into a kind of rhythmic interplay trap with the opponent, right? And so what we're looking to do in severing this string is to sever the harmonization that's occurring between you and your opponent. And the way you do that, just like Musashi says, is by doing something unexpected, out of rhythm, unanticipated, right? Whether it's a foot change, whether it's a shout, whether it is a change in tactic as to how you're interacting with their sword. If you've been parrying, maybe you start suppressing. Bam. If you've been intentionally cutting utsu, right? Maybe you slash taru, right? The key is to be able to sense the deadlock and how it's occurred, right? Which, by and large, if you're at a distance that's not grappling with a dude, it is almost always because of rhythm, because of harmonization that the deadlocks occur in that sort of T-dum, 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 T-dum rhythm. And Musashi talks about this a fair bit in several places in these articles and in the Gorin no Sho. because it's easy, right? And you're working with somebody whose skill level is lower than yours, you will bring them up into your rhythm. If their skill level is higher, they'll bring you up into their rhythm, or you'll bring them down into your rhythm. Either way, there's a kind of meeting in the middle that can occur if you're not aware of it. And so it's important to kind of understand the nature of this rhythmic harmonization and how to break it, right? How to remove the bowstring of the spirit between you two. So, yeah. Basically, once you recognize the situation, you need to know that as long as you're harmonized with the opponent, you are probably not going to come out of this well, right? Doesn't mean he's going to come out of it well either, but you don't want your fate to be a coin flip. You want to be in control of it. And so the moment you recognize this ti-dum, 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 ti-dum rhythm, you got to break it. Okay. And this can be difficult because it has the rhythm is compelling, right? We fall into it because we feel we have to, right? The dude swung at us, and we feel like we can't do anything but answer with our sword, right? To answer in time with him. Otherwise, we'll experience danger. So, being able to work slower than their rhythm is, of course, optimal. When that's not a possibility, working between their rhythm is another good option. And we've talked about both of these before, so I don't feel the need to go into them again. What's important is that you are able to realize that you're in this situation, realize why it's there, and understand how to reverse it through its motion, right? To cut that harmonization between the two of you, right? Makes sense? Hopefully. It's actually pretty simple. It's a fairly simple idea, so I think you guys can get it, especially if you've been practicing up to now. So, as always, if you want to understand this work, you have to pick up a sword and go train.